All right, let's see who the most overrated guitarists of all time are.
Ba-bam! John Mayer. He's an amazing guitar player. Well, you kind of just win against the prompt right there. He's an amazing guitar player, but he's only occasionally an amazing songwriter. He doesn't always use his virtuosity to his full potential, so on and so forth. No, I agree, but here's the thing. John Mayer is a very, very good guitar player, and when I've seen him really jam and solo, he's quite tasteful with it. If anything, I think he's a little underrated as a guitar player because he doesn't tend, as you say here, which is true, pull that flash out.
So I'm going to agree with what he says there and expand on it that, yeah, John Mayer, he has a unique voice and he wants to be a singer, songwriter kind of guy. He's not trying to be a virtuoso like Steve Vai or just release albums of heavy guitar instrumental songs, So he is a good guitarist, and I'm not a fan of his music personally, but you can tell that he does use the guitar tastefully when he's writing songs. He doesn't just overdo it, so...
He'd much rather just be like a pop guy. Santana, proof at 234. Santana? Did he not go into it with a plan?
I wouldn't call Santana overrated. I'd say he's probably one of the most popular in that particular style of Latin rock, so you don't hear a lot of other ones as mainstream as him. So maybe his sound just gets a little bit overplayed. Maybe people have heard too much of it, but I don't think he's a bad guitarist.
The Edge. He only ever plays with 2 chords and lets his pedals do all the work for him. I don't know if I could say the Edge is overrated necessarily. I get that his name gets thrown around and maybe
Okay, so I'm going to say, yeah, the Edge, I wouldn't call him overrated in the sense that a lot of people don't realize how great the 80s U2 stuff is, and to touch on just playing 2 chords with the pedals doing all the work, that's hard. Have you tried to just use pedals to make something sound good? Timing the delay and everything like that is a skill. I'm sure maybe he's overdoing it, and maybe it's a one-trick pony kind of situation, but the creativity that he essentially pioneered in that sort of sense is unrivaled. He sounds like him, and no one else really sounds like him, despite all the other 80s groups that had similar effects. They don't still sound like the U2 sound to me. You can always tell when it's the Edge playing. And the Joshua Tree, that's an amazing album. It's not like he's just blazing solos or anything, but just the little intro to Still Haven't Found What I'm Looking For, just the guitar there, listen to that, it's amazing. It's like bouncing around my ears.
I like Buckethead and recognize he's very talented, but I don't understand why he's as big of a deal as he is, aside from his noteworthy stage gimmick. I will admit here that I'm not a huge Buckethead fan myself, and a lot of his music doesn't really speak to me, but he does bring at least a certain level of talent and technicality and flash to...
I have not listened to anything from Buckethead that I'm aware of, so let's fix that too. This will be a first time. Shredding, yeah, he can shred. And shredding is a good skill. I can't really shred like that, but I'm more of a fan of tasteful solos. But yeah, not bad.
Van Halen, his entire legacy is based on Eruption, which everyone can learn to play after a few days of practice. Every other song is just ska chords? I don't agree. I think Van Halen, as far as like 80s hard rock guitarists go, is pretty good. I certainly enjoy him more than Slash. He also provided that amazing, guitar solo for Michael Jackson as well, for free. I think he was a good player, sure. The pentatonic licks and everything, I get it. I understand. It is a little bit speed and flash over substance, but as far as like this sort of stuff goes, it's fun.
Yeah, I'm not the world's biggest Van Halen fan. That being said, the songs I know, the radio hits and everything are great, and who can deny how talented Eddie Van Halen is? Again, he's kind of like Randy Rhoads around the same time, like kind of pushing forward what the guitar was capable of in terms of radio-friendly songs and big names that were coming out in the late 70s, early 80s. So respect for Van Halen for sure.
Frank Zappa playing more notes doesn't make it sound better. And sure, he had like some fast solos here and there, but I would say that overall he wasn't just like a speed and flash over substance type guitarist. Like a lot of Zappa's playing was greatly informed by jazz, by classical music.
So I need to look at Frank Zappa too, because I hate to admit it, but I'm not too familiar with his guitar work. That was good. Has that big arena rock sound to it, and even though he's shredding on a Stratocaster, which I love, using that whammy bar, and the song still sounds melodic and like a song. It's not just a million notes. It's not just Mozart.
It's quality work. And there are simply too many notes. That's all. Just cut a few and it'll be perfect.
Hendrix, not because he isn't top 10 of all time, but I bear a personal grudge against him because my dad wouldn't get me guitar lessons because Hendrix taught himself, you should be able to too. Thurston Moore, I love Sonic.
Okay, I'm glad the Hendrix one wasn't real, because I was going to say, do I really need to pull up a Hendrix video for you?
Youth, but he's not the best guitarist out there. He just tunes his instruments randomly. I haven't found an interview or video where you can actually tell which chord he's playing. I mean, depending on what his tuning is, he may not know. And he's been featured in top lists simply because of that. Generally speaking, in terms of like guitar talent on a technical level, I don't hear Thurston Moore brought up, but I have no doubt that he's incorporated into these lists that you say here. And I think that's because he just has a different and inventive approach to guitar and guitar playing.
It's funny, for a list of overrated guitarists, this is 3 that I'm not that familiar with, so that's kind of ironic. But let's listen to Thurston Moore.
Schizophrenia, take 1.
Yeah, so from what I know of Sonic Youth, that's them. It's that sort of atmospheric, droning guitar that, is kind of like the prototype to what grunge and alternative were going to be in the 90s. And so it's good for what it is. It's kind of like the Edge, kind of like U2, where it's its unique sound, more indicative of the type of sound that Sonic Youth was going for, more than like the skills of the guitar player. So I'm going to say, is he overrated? I don't think so, just due to the fact that he's a unique guitarist. So I don't know too many other guitars that sound just like him that I can think of.
He's skilled at the guitar in a way that other people are not, and he's developed so many, different sounds and styles and noises, and that has no doubt inspired a lot of people to venture out with their guitar tone, to play and perform in ways that push the player out of their comfort zone. Steve Vai, we get it, Steve. You love sweet picking. That's enough. Yeah, honestly, there's not a guitarist on this planet whose playing I get tired of faster than Steve Vai. I will, have an easier time listening to and kind of vibing out to somebody who's been playing maybe for 6 months, just 6 months, than I do listening to Steve freaking Vai. And look, I get.
Yeah, I can't really just sit there and listen to that type of music for too long myself. I can appreciate it. It's very talented, very skillful, but not what I'm into.
That he's talented. Dave Mustaine, man thinks that Metallica would have been bigger than the Beatles if they had kept him. LMAO. He's pretty great at writing riffs, but his solos are so samey. I don't disagree about the solos, but I don't think Dave Mustaine's a bad guitarist.
Some would argue that Dave is better than Kirk on a technical level. However, just to compare it to what I know, I think Kirk's a good guitarist. So you can disagree with me on that, but Dave's good. He definitely does deserve recognition as a guitar player. All right, so thanks for joining me on that little reaction to the most overrated guitarist. Let me know what you think. Please be sure to subscribe, hit like, comment. I'll see you next time.